number three, video number three, the Wealth Advisor Residency Program. If you've been watching the videos, this is video number three. The first video, I unpacked the crisis, the biggest financial crisis in American history, I believe, along with what I believe is a very significant opportunity for anyone who wants to be looking at a new career or a better career in the financial services industry. The Wealth Advisor Residency Program is a joint venture between my firm, Family Wealth Builder of Houston, and Tremont Street Advisors, a registered investment advisory firm, which happens to be my RIA, and I hold the position of Director of Wealth Management at Tremont Street. So in this video, video number three, I want to share, I promised to share a story. Grabbed this video right off of YouTube. So I reached out to Jeff Rose, who is a friend of mine. We've actually not spoken in a while, but we have crossed paths several times. And Jeff is a great guy. He has an RV. He did a video series on what it was like to live in an RV. It was cool. Since I have an RV, Connie and I love to go camping. It was a cool experience to follow Jeff. He's got some great stuff. So if you go to my YouTube channel, the Wealth Advisor Career, you can find us on YouTube. I just posted the channel today, so I think we have 2 subscribers. Please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Wealth Advisor Career. I'm posting this live on Facebook right now, but I'm gonna basically record the video and post it to our YouTube channel. So Wealth Advisor Career, that's where you'll get notified every time we post a new video. So this is video number 3 in a series. There'll be lots of short videos coming as we unpack and move forward into the Wealth Advisor Residency Program. Right now we're accepting resumes, so wanted to just make sure you know how to do that. If you or someone you know is interested in building a career and becoming a business owner in the financial services industry, you will probably not find a better opportunity than what we're offering here. We have some space at the University of Houston, and because of my role there teaching personal finance for the last 6 years, it seemed like a great way to support the tech startups at the University of Houston. My role at the Bauer College of Business is teaching personal finance. I've gotten to know lots of students who want to be in the business, financial services business. And so this is something I've always wanted to do, is develop talent, teach the next generation of financial advisors how to build a business in financial services. So this is not about a job. This is not what Edward Jones or Primerica or even Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, Wells Fargo, UBS. Those folks all have a training program. And just like my training at State Farm and my training at Morgan Stanley, those training events or programs are typically designed to teach you how to sell stuff. And the stuff you sell is the company stuff. And so that's not what the Wealth Advisor Residency Program is all about. We are going to equip our residents to become very good at doing holistic financial planning. In the last video, I unpacked or demonstrated the blueprint for financial success, which is a tool I designed when I became a certified financial planner. It gave me a track to run on, which is what I needed. It gave me the confidence to know I wasn't missing the important details in creating financial plans for my clients. I've been using the blueprint for many years. I've taught financial advisors around the country how to use the blueprint as a tool, a guide to develop effective financial strategies for clients. And it works in a very simple way because we start with a conversation that helps us clarify what the client's vision is, what their values are, and what their purpose is, or like I say in my book, the subtitle of my book is Connecting Your Resources to What Matters Most. And the blueprint is how we do that. So the book title is Make Your Money Count. I'm still not showing you the book. It will be available in the training, and we'll make it available for advisors who can't actually participate in the training at some point. But for now, the Wealth Advisor Residency Program video number 3 is all about sharing Jeff Rose and his story about what it took him to go from entering the business to actually making $100,000 a year. I'm sure Jeff makes significantly more than that now. But again, we don't share financial statements. I'm not his advisor and he's not mine. I just know him as a guy that he's a great guy. So I'm proud to present to you a YouTube video you could have found yourself, but I want to share Jeff Rose and his journey.
Hey, this is Jeff Rose from GoodFinancialSense.com with another video. And this video is for everybody that is interested in becoming a financial advisor. Specifically, what does it take to make 6 figures, to make over $100,000 a year as a financial advisor? I'm going to share my journey, how long it took, what it took, the steps, the tactics, the strategies, everything that I did to get to the point where I was making over 6 figures a year as a financial advisor. That's what we're going to talk about in this video today. Let's check it out. All right, so I've been a financial advisor now for 15 years, and it's been an amazing journey. It's definitely a journey that I wouldn't want to start over again because it was a lot of work, a lot of late nights, a lot of frustrations, a lot of pulling my hair out. But I'm grateful and thankful for the experience. So how did it all start for me? So I was a finance major in college. As a finance major, I was able to land an internship with a local investment firm. That firm then offered me a part-time job my last semester in college. And then that part-time job turned into a job offer to become a junior stockbroker at the time. So even though I was a finance major, I knew nothing about the business. I really didn't actually know about investing. I specifically didn't know anything about the business of actually being a financial advisor. So most people don't really know what a financial advisor does. Most people think that they day trade or they're doing stock picking or trading options, and that is nothing of the sort. And I know that's kind of what I thought, but I realized like that's not it at all. It's showing people how they can invest for their retirement. It is showing them how much they can live off of when they retire. It really is much more about being an educator, taking really complex topics and breaking it down in a form where people can understand it, they can digest it, but most importantly, take action on those recommendations and do something with it. And that's really what being a financial advisor is and what it does. So once I kind of figured that out, I mean, I loved it. I loved everything about it because people were coming to me and these people were twice my age, 3 times my age, sometimes 3.5 times my age, and they were trusting me with their life savings. And there's a lot of responsibility in that, but there's also a lot of confidence in that because that's a lot of trust to put in somebody, especially a kid. I was like 24 years old at the time. So that was the beginning. So I got started as a financial advisor. I was with this investment firm. The firm was called A.G. Edwards and Sons. They are no longer around. They were bought out by Wachovia, which then was bought out by Wells Fargo. So I'm starting off as a junior broker. This is how much I got paid starting off. I had a base salary of $18,500. $18,500, that is not per month, that is per year. And then we would split fees and commissions 50%. So anything that I brought in, so any new clients I brought in, any new revenue that I produced, we split 50-50. But here's the kicker, and this is what most people don't realize when you're working for a big investment firm. And most of all the big Wall Street firms are like this, the Edward Jones are like this as well. So any revenue or any commissions, any fees that you make for the firm, you then have to give the firm a cut. On average, it's usually about half. Every dollar that you bring in, 50 cents goes to the firm. With A.G. Edwards, they took 60 cents of every dollar. So every dollar that I made, I would have to give them 60 cents. So I kept 40 cents. Now that paid for the phone, my office, the brochures, the name, the brand, everything. So when you're starting off, you think, oh, that's not a bad deal, right? I mean, I don't have to go out and get a computer. I don't have to go out and get an office. I had a secretary that I could share, somebody to answer the phone. So that was some good that came out of it. But so of that 50% commission that I would split with the other advisor, we would split it 50-50. And then of that 50%, I had to give 60% to the firm. So in that first year, I think total, I made about $22,000, maybe $23,000 gross, before taxes, before health insurance, all that good stuff. So that was my first year in the business. But let me say this, I was kind of unique in the sense that I had a salary. So a lot of people that start off, you don't have the luxury of being a junior broker. So I lucked out in that sense because I was in a training class with other advisors that were all starting off just like me. And these advisors I wasn't the youngest. I was definitely one of the youngest. I think there was somebody that was 23 that was in that class. And there were people that were starting their second, third careers. So we had people in their mid-50s, if I recall. So in this training class, we had about 55 people total, ranging in age from 23 all the way up into their mid-50s. At the end of that first year, more than half of our training class was no longer in the business. They didn't make it. They didn't make the cut because it is a ruthless industry. If you don't make it, if you don't go out and get new clients, if you don't generate fees, generate revenue, commissions, you don't get paid. You don't get paid, you don't pay the bills. If you got families to support, mouths to feed, then you got to go out and find a new job. So I was lucky that I had that salary, that $18,500 starting off, but wasn't much of anything, but it was something. Plus I was just out of college. I was still living on the college budget, was renting a house with 3 other guys, didn't have a car payment. I was driving a 1998 Chevy Lumina. So my expenses were very low. And if my expenses weren't as low as they were, I don't know if I would have made it, but I made it. Second year, I got up, I think my income was about $40,000 if I recall. By the third year, I was at about $65,000. Took a bit of a break because then I got deployed to Iraq. But it wasn't until about my 5th year in the business where I netted 6 figures a year. And the whole point of this video is I want to talk about how I did it. How did I get to that point where I was making 6 figures? Not just getting to that point, but also how did I survive? If more than half of my training class didn't survive that first year, how was I different? What are some of the things that I implemented to make that happen? I'll tell you the first thing that I did was I hustled my face off. So I was doing cold calling, I was doing seminars, I was doing lunch and learns. I was doing anything that I could to get my name out there. I didn't come from a family that had a lot of money. My dad filed bankruptcy twice. My mom filed bankruptcy twice. They were divorced. They didn't have a lot of friends that had money. So I didn't have a lot of relatives to go to or my parents' friends to go to say, hey, give me some money to invest. And it almost was like this, I wanted to prove myself that I didn't have to go out and talk to people I knew. A lot of these businesses, they want you to go talk to friends and family. You know what? I wanted to go prove myself to other people that didn't know me so that I could go back to my friends and family and show them that I was going to make it. So the way I did that was I cold called. This is before the do not call policy went into effect. So it was a little bit easier back in the day, but it still was not fun. So I was the guy that would annoy you during dinner between 5 and 7 p.m. or during the day and call you to see if you were open to new investment ideas. And I would do that hours upon hours every single day. Call, get hung up on, get yelled at, everything. But then finally, I remember I landed my first big client, and this was all through a cold call over the phone. And that was very eye-opening for me, that people were willing to listen to me, to invest money with me, and all coming from a complete stranger initially that they had met over the phone. We would end up meeting in person so that it became face-to-face, but nonetheless, it all started with a cold call. I also did seminars. So this is basically where I would open a restaurant and rent out a room and have like a dinner or a lunch and then give a presentation in front of everybody just to basically showcase my expertise, that I knew what I was talking about. And that cost money. I was able to get some vendors and sponsors that would help out with that. But it was also very nerve-wracking. Here I am, 24 years old, giving a presentation in front of mostly baby boomers about a topic that I just basically learned out of school. But I do remember I was putting in 60 hours a week plus, doing anything that I could to get my name out there, to get new clients. And that's what it takes. And most people, they don't do that. They think that people are going to just come to them and call them and give them their money. And that does happen on occasion, but it doesn't really happen until further along in the business. Definitely didn't happen in my first year in the business. But I see a lot of people that want to become a part-time financial advisor, and there are some MLM type companies that really make that hard pitch, like, oh, you can become a financial advisor part-time. Yeah, you can become a part-time financial advisor that's not going to make any money, and no one's going to trust you to invest their money with you because you're not taking it seriously. I think that's just one reason why people were willing to work with me, because they saw that I was dedicated, that I was motivated, that I was willing to do whatever it took, to earn their business. So hustle played a huge factor into that. The second thing that led to my success was not willing to not take no for an answer, but not let no define how my day was going to be or how my career was going to pan out. And specifically was, if you're cold calling and you're making 300, 400, 500 dials a day, and you're talking to say 100 people per day, you're going to get rejected a few times. You're going to get rejected a lot of times. And I can remember one day in particular where everybody that I talked to, I couldn't even get them to accept me sending my business card in the mail to them. They wouldn't even accept my business card. That's how bad it was. And I remember just one day it was no, 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 no. And finally, like around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I got the first person who'd be willing to accept my business card in the mail. Now, I think you get this. You don't make any money by mailing out your business card. But in that moment, like, that was a win for me. That was something to just rally behind and just focus. Like, I had a success. Somebody accepted my business card. In those moments, I mean, it could be hard to, I kind of had to brush it off and kind of laugh about it because it was kind of funny. But in the same breath, like, I knew that this was just a bad day. And every no is going to lead me to somebody that's willing to say yes. Yes to accepting my business card. Yes to willing to talk to me about their investment situation. Yes to becoming my client and me working with them with their specific financial planning needs. In this business and in life, we get rejected all the time. And we can wallow in our self-pity. We can wallow in our misery and that no one wants to work with us and I'm not qualified, I'm not good enough. Doggone it, nobody likes me. And I could have sat in that mindset and then quit and went and got a salary job somewhere else. But I knew that I couldn't let the word no define me. I couldn't let that bring me down and not move on to the next person to call, the next cold call, the next seminar, the next lunch meeting, whatever it was. I knew I had to push through. So I did not let no bring me down because I was not going to back down. All right, the third thing that I did, and this was really important for me because, once again, I was a young advisor. I was not married. I didn't even have a fiance. I had a girlfriend who became my fiance, now my wife. What's up, babe? Love you. But I was a young gun that had just graduated college. I wasn't making a lot of money, but I really had to act as if. And if you've seen the movie Boiler Room, one of my favorite movies of all time with Ben Affleck, there was a scene with him in the boardroom where he talks about acting as if.
There's an important phrase we use here. I think it's time you all learned it. Act as if. Do you understand what that means? Act as if you are the president of this firm. Act as if you got a 9-inch, okay? Act as if.
So acting as if, I had to act as if that I was successful. I had to act as if I was confident in my recommendations and my knowledge and my ability and experience to be able to help these people. And you can kind of laugh at the experience part because I was just out of college, but I also had to remind myself that a lot of people I was talking to, they didn't know anything about investing. They didn't go to college or major in finance, and they really didn't know anything about their 401ks or mutual funds. So yeah, I had limited experience, but I had more than they had. And that was all they really needed. So I had to act as if that I was confident, that I was successful, and that I knew what I was doing. Now, there is a clear difference between saying, acting as if you know what you're doing versus lying and saying that you know something that you don't. I was always quick to let them know when I didn't know the answer, but I would always follow that up with, sir or ma'am, I don't know that right now, but I promise I will get back to you with that answer. And I did, every single time. Your word is everything. So acting as if you know it, but if you don't know it, be willing to admit that you don't, but you're going to get that answer for them. And that acting as if, that approach is what I did. You know, I wore the shirt and tie. I had, my office was decorated in a certain way that just felt like I wasn't, I didn't have like thumbtack posters on the wall. So that is the big things I did. But the final thing that really was a breakthrough was I said, screw the big name. Having a big name behind you, it definitely helped in my career, having that firm name behind me. But when I left that firm and went out on my own and started my own firm, that is when it started. That's when the revenue started really coming in. And it's funny because I left my firm at probably the worst possible time. This is going back in 2008 when the bear market happened. And if you don't remember that, go ahead and Google it. But the market bombed. The Dow Jones dropped like 50% over the course of a few months. And it definitely was the worst time to leave, but it was also the best time because I had to get out of there. And even though the market dropped, I didn't have the big name behind me, I had the experience, I had the confidence of acting as if, and that's when we saw the revenue increase, when I finally started seeing that six-figure revenue come in. Because at the end of the day, I realized it wasn't about the big name, it was about me. My clients trusted me with my experience, my knowledge, my recommendations. And just building up that reputation over time, I didn't need the big name anymore. And these were the things that I did that led to that success. And basically, after I co-founded that first firm, I now founded my own firm, Alliance Wealth Management. Everything I talked about was rinse, repeat, and just do over. Do it again, do it again, do it again. And that is what has led me to where I am today. So that's what it takes. If you are interested in becoming a financial advisor and getting to that point, those are the steps to follow. I mean, it's really not rocket science, but I think most people just kind of take it for granted how hard it is and how hard it is to succeed in anything, whether you're being a financial advisor, whatever profession that you're following. It takes work, it takes grit, it takes hustle. It ain't gonna happen overnight. I was not an overnight success. I mean, this was 5 years in the making to get to this point. So that's it. If you like this video, do me a favor, like it, comment it, subscribe, whatever those things are. You'll see some boxes flying around. Let me know. If you've got any questions about what it takes to become a financial advisor, leave a comment. I'm glad to answer your question and help out any way I can. Until next time, peace. Won't back down. And that's Bob.
Shout out to Jeff Rose. That every time I watch your videos, Jeff, especially that one, I have waves of recollection about my time on Wall Street at Morgan Stanley. Man, I wish I would have had a mentor like you when I started in this business. And I got to tell you, man, I'm excited about the Wealth Advisor Residency program. And, our goal is to provide some good mentoring for young or just starting out financial advisors who want to be business owners. So thanks, man, Jeff. Thanks for letting me share your story. You are the guy that I kind of hold up to the students at the Bauer College of Business at the University of Houston. We've got a lot of great talent, young people who want to jump into this business, become a wealth advisor, and they need good mentors. And so you're like one of the best, and I appreciate you. So that's it for video number 3. This really kind of went off track a little bit from the process of unpacking the Wealth Advisor Residency program. But one thing I really, really wanted to do, I think we have 5 interviews coming up in a couple of days. We just posted this job, the residency openings. You can, by the way, submit your resume at, as you see on the screen, wealthadvisorcareer.com. I set that up and redirected it to the posting that we have. Tremont Street Advisors has posted the position for the Wealth Advisor Residency Program online at Indeed. So that link will take you right to the job posting where you can submit your resume. But anyway, we've got several candidates already in the process, and we're interviewing now for the first round of residents. Really excited to do that at the University of Houston, at the old Schlumberger complex called the Innovation Center. So I wanted to share this video with Jeff Rose specifically for the purpose of helping the folks who think this may be for them. The Wealth Advisor Residency Program is really for anyone who currently has a job in the financial services industry, or anyone who's ever dreamed of being a business owner. And that's really what the residency program is all about, is equipping you to become a business owner. So we've got some great training. The core training will be around the discovery process. The blueprint for financial success will teach you how to meet with a client, how to develop a holistic plan, how to make recommendations, and that's what I'll be talking about in the next videos, is the process. But the Wealth Advisor Residency Program, you really need to understand, just like Jeff said, we're going to give you lots of support, but the reality is it's work. We're going to set you up for success. We're going to give you the tools. The blueprint for financial success will be basically an offer to a client to have a holistic financial plan done for them. Now, the cost of that service in my current business model is a minimum of $2,500. In other words, think of it this way. If you're an investor and you have $250,000 to invest, typically you should be paying about 1% for your investment advisor. Now, Morgan Stanley, 2%. Merrill Lynch, 1.5%. That's 150 basis points. And that's just for investment management. So $2,500 is a pretty standard fee for financial planning, to develop a plan along with the recommendations for your plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to help the residents by providing that same level of planning for $200. So in other words, you're going to be selling, as a resident, you're going to be selling financial planning engagements. The client is going to pay $200. So imagine if you're a business owner and you're given this opportunity to help a young advisor or a new advisor, and you know you're receiving the quality of a service, financial planning, with the total engagement and supervision of a certified financial planner, but you're only paying $200 for the service. That's, I think, a win-win-win, and that's why we've set it up this way. So we will be offering our core products, investment management, financial planning, but the core product we offer is the blueprint. It's a way for clients and prospective clients to get a good overview of their financial situation, along with some very specific recommendations crossing all 7 elements of financial planning. And that's what we'll be talking about in the next few videos. How do you create a holistic financial plan for your clients? How do you do that in a way that's compelling for them? How do you do that in a way that's effective for them? So we've got you covered on that. The blueprint is a great tool. It's a powerful tool for building financial plans. So if you didn't see the last video where I unpacked the blueprint, check that out. If you didn't see the first video where I talked about the crisis and the opportunity, check that out. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us at Advisor Career. Just search that in YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and you will be notified when we have new videos, which should be coming on a pretty regular basis. Have a great day. Thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to share it with that special someone you know, like, and trust who may be looking for a new career in an area that has tremendous opportunity of financial services.